Hi guys, welcome back to Movie Recap. In this video, I'm going to recap one of the films. From 2018, Look Away. Without any further, let's get started. The movie opens with 17-year-old Maria Brennan getting ready for school. She lives in a luxurious home with her parents, Dan and Amy, but despite her privileged life, Maria struggles deeply. Shy and withdrawn, she is an outcast at school and is frequently bullied by a boy named Mark. Her only friend is Lily, a confident figure skater who has a boy named Sean. At times, Maria can't help but feel jealous of Lily's confidence and social success. Maria's parents are also concerned about her distant behavior and repeatedly encourage her to attend the upcoming school prom, but she refuses. Unlike the stereotypical overprotective father, Dan is more concerned with Maria's appearance and social status. He believes something is wrong with her simply because she shows no interest in boys or social activities. Maria is painfully aware of her parents' worries. One day, she sneaks into her parents' bedroom and tries on her mother's makeup. However, she suddenly stops when she notices something sticking out from the side of the mirror. To her shock, it's a strange sonogram image showing twins. Later that night, while Maria is in the bathroom, she notices her reflection staring back at her. Startled, she loses her balance and falls. When she wipes the steam off the mirror, her reflection slowly becomes visible, but to her horror, it continues moving on its own. Terrified, Maria runs away. The next day, Maria tries to tell her parents what happened, but they dismiss her story as imagination. At school, Mark bullies her once again, tripping her and sending her crashing to the ground as everyone laughs. Suddenly, Sean steps in, helps her up, and even shoves Mark, warning him to stay away. This small act of kindness means everything to Maria, as no one has ever defended her before. That evening, Maria takes a bath, replaying the moment with Sean in her mind. Her calm is shattered when she hears the cries of a baby. Disturbing flashes of her own birth flood her thoughts, leaving her shaken and unable to sleep. In the dead of night, a voice softly calls her name. When Maria investigates, she comes face to face with her reflection, now speaking to her. Though terrified at first, she gathers the courage to listen. The reflection introduces herself as Iram, claiming to be Maria's complete opposite, confident, charismatic, and dominant. The two begin to talk, sharing their likes, dislikes, and frustrations, slowly forming a bond. Aram offers to help Maria overcome her fears and transform into a more confident version of herself, setting the stage for a dark and unsettling journey ahead. The next morning, Maria shocks her parents by announcing that she wants to attend prom. At school, she goes a step further, expressing interest in learning how to ice skate for the winter dance. That evening, she visits her father at his cosmetic clinic, hoping to spend some quality time with him. However, when she sees him getting unusually close to a female client, Maria begins to suspect he's having an affair. On the drive home, Dan tells her to visit the clinic again the next day, promising her an early birthday gift. That night, Maria discusses it with her reflection, which claims her father is a selfish and immoral man. Maria refuses to believe it, defending him by insisting he plans to buy her a car. But the next day, her hopes are crushed when Dan reveals the gift is actually a cosmetic procedure. He coldly explains that he wants to fix her abnormally large ears and nose. The revelation devastates Maria, forcing her to confront the truth that her father despises her imperfections. Later, Iram comforts her, suggesting they teach Dan a lesson. She also criticizes Amy for being weak and tolerating his emotional abuse. As they talk, Maria begins to feel lighter, even laughing for the first time in a while. Their laughter catches Amy's attention, and she asks who Maria was talking to. When Maria can't give a clear answer, Amy grows suspicious and fears her daughter may be using drugs. Amy later voices her concerns to Dan, but he dismisses them entirely. Instead, he gives her sleeping pills, applies beauty cream to her face, and tucks her into bed. As she drifts off, Amy confesses that her nightmares have returned. Dan reassures her they'll disappear, just like they always do. The next day, Maria practices ice skating with Lily. Having never skated before, she quickly slips and falls. Rather than helping her, Lily cruelly warns her to stay away from Sean. Hurt and confused by her friend's sudden hostility, Maria goes home and confides in Iram. Aram claims Lily is toxic, obsessed only with popularity, and insists that she alone truly understands Maria. She calls herself Maria's only real friend, her sole companion, and offers a solution, switching places and taking control of Maria's life. Tempted and emotionally vulnerable, Maria almost accepts, reaching toward her reflection. But at the last moment, Amy bursts in, reminding her that she's late for prom. Startled back to reality, Maria quickly puts on her dress and rushes out the door, leaving the mirror behind, for now. Unfortunately, attending prom turns out to be a terrible mistake. Maria is immediately overwhelmed by the flashing lights, deafening music, and the crushing crowd on the ice rink. Terrified of falling, she clings to the edge, unable to move. Just as she decides to leave, Sean appears and gently offers his hand. Relieved, Maria accepts, and the two glide toward the center of the rink, slowly dancing in each other's arms. Nearby, Lily watches the moment unfold, her envy quietly turning into malice. Seizing the opportunity, she deliberately startles Maria, causing her to lose balance and crash onto the ice. Sean rushes to help, but Lily steps in and blocks him. Moments later, the school bully Mark joins in and begins dragging Maria across the rink. As she screams and begs for help, the surrounding students do nothing, silently watching her humiliation. When Mark finally lets go, Maria flees the rink in tears, utterly broken. This humiliation becomes the final straw. Back home, Maria gives in to Iram's whispers and agrees to surrender control. The two touch hands and lips, sealing the exchange. When the transformation is complete, Maria is trapped behind the mirror, while Iram steps freely into the real world. That same night, Amy suffers a violent nightmare, reliving the agonizing pain of giving birth to Maria. She wakes up screaming. The next day, Iram, now in Maria's body, walks through the school halls with newfound confidence. She encounters Mark, boldly grabs him, licks his ear, and walks away, leaving him frozen in shock. Lily soon approaches, pretending to care, but Iram immediately sees through her act. Still, she plays along, acting friendly and asking Lily to teach her how to skate again. Later, Iram visits Dan's clinic. After distracting the receptionist, she steals the phone number of Dan's mistress and carefully orchestrates a meeting, ensuring Amy and the woman arrive at the clinic at the same time. Her plan succeeds. Amy comes face to face with the mistress in the elevator and is devastated when she realizes the truth about her husband's infidelity. The story then cuts back to the ice rink where students gather to practice. Iram lures Mark into the washroom and, without warning, smashes his knee with a hockey stick, dislocating it instantly. Mark collapses, screaming in agony and begging for help, but Iram coldly walks away, leaving him to suffer alone. As the rink clears out, Iram stays behind with Lily. To Lily's surprise, Iram suddenly skates with flawless precision, moving like a professional. Then her expression shifts. A terrifying determination fills her eyes as she begins chasing Lily across the rink. Panicked, Lily tries to escape but stumbles, smashing her head against the concrete. Blood pours from her wound as she lies helpless on the ground. Iram watches in silence as Lily slowly bleeds out. Only afterward does Iram call the authorities, pretending to be frightened and concerned as she reports the accident. In the reflection of the phone screen, the real Maria is visible, trapped behind the glass, crying helplessly as she watches her life unravel. Later that night, Iram returns home, only for a detective to arrive at the house, intent on questioning her about Lily's death. Before he can begin, Amy steps in and convinces him to return another time. Once alone in the bathroom, Maria confronts Iram through the mirror, accusing her of murder. Iram's response is chilling. She calmly claims Lily deserved it. Horrified, Maria begs to switch back, desperate to stop what Iram has become. But Iram refuses, coldly stating that she isn't finished yet. Maria's anger and disappointment mean nothing to her now. The scene cuts to Lily's funeral. As mourners gather, the detective offers his condolences to Sean, then briefly locks eyes with Iram. The silent exchange unsettles her, and she quickly turns to leave. Before she can, Sean stops her and pulls her into a tight embrace.
We're in this together.
That night, Iram sneaks out to see Sean. Alone together, they talk about their lives, their fears, and their loneliness. Iram slowly crosses boundaries, drawing closer and feeding off his vulnerability. Sean hesitates, sensing something is wrong, but eventually lets his guard down. The following day, Iram joins Dan for dinner. He expresses concern over her emotional detachment since Lily's death, but Iram seems disturbingly unaffected. It's revealed that Dan has been avoiding home ever since his affair was exposed. When Iram asks if he plans to reconcile with Amy, he assures her everything will soon return to normal. As the meal continues, Aram deliberately eats in a crude, unsettling manner. Dan snaps, scolding her to behave properly. Though she complies, her resentment toward him deepens. Over the next few days, Iram avoids school altogether, persuading Sean to skip classes with her. Eventually, they hide out together, trying to escape reality. But the illusion shatters when Sean receives a call from his mother telling him the police want to question them. Panic sets in and he insists on leaving. Aram refuses. When Sean presses her for answers, suspicion creeps in. Realizing she's been exposed, Iram attacks him in a sudden burst of violence. Sean dies shortly afterward. In the aftermath, Iram retreats to the bathroom where she finds Maria sobbing uncontrollably. For a brief moment, the two cling to each other, sharing grief and horror in silence. That same night, Amy suffers another nightmare, this one revealing the buried truth. Maria was born with a twin sister, severely deformed. Dan believed it was pointless to let the baby live and made the decision to end her life. That twin was Iram. Back in reality, Iram arrives at Dan's clinic, barely able to stand. Concerned, he carries her inside and lays her down. Her behavior quickly turns unsettling. She asks if he finds her beautiful, if he could love her even with imperfections. Dan insists he would love her unconditionally. But Iram doesn't believe him. In a sudden, furious motion, she slashes his throat. As he bleeds to death, she demands to know why he couldn't love her before.
Why couldn't you love me?
Afterward, Iram calls out for Maria, but receives no response. She returns home and lies beside a dazed Amy. The final scene unfolds in shimmering reflections. Amy is seen holding both daughters in her arms, their images overlapping and merging. It becomes clear that Maria and Iram are no longer separate. They have fused into a single being, bound forever as one. Thanks for watching, and remember to turn on your notifications to watch more movie recaps like this one.